Hola, niño! Namaste. God bless. How are all of you? What the hell? Why was I saying that? I had like a flashback on my way up to the loft here of Dora the Explorer. Oh my God! You guys remember? You guys have children, and you had got stuck there watching that stuff, man. Uh, anyway, it was good programming. You know, I grew up on Sesame Street. Yay me! You know, one of these things just doesn't belong here. Kind of sounds like the metaphor I'm going to use today, guys. But today is picture day on America's Mentor, and I got this from, I had to do a visit yesterday, man, with a follow-up with the old doc, and everything's fine. No worries there, Meatball. All is good. All is good. But in this, you know, I always show these things, man. These are the Walmart things, and you can get these at any Walmart for like 50 cents. They used to be 25, but, you know, inflation kind of kicked in. But what this has done for me, and virtually, and I checked my stack. I got a stack here, not just over here that you guys see these things, but literally the shelf next to my desk over here. It's almost, what, almost 3 feet high. I started journaling many moons ago. And this quote stood out for me many moons ago. I saw it yesterday. I said, wait, I'm gonna trigger it to a program. And it's great because you don't have to do it this way. In other words, you don't have to dictate your life on paper. I do it as a double power kind of mechanism because it puts me, I focus better in state. Some people do it with walking, with yoga, a sunset walk on the beach, man. You can create the most amazing things. A sunrise walk with your pets, and you insert all these things in your mind that you want to bring to you. It's basically the same thing. But all I did, I knew I had to redo my mindset. And when I started to understand quantum mechanics and neuroscience and how everything connects in our lives, I realized I had a gift here. I had a gift. It's something really simple. You guys can do it. There's 168 hours in a week. You know, literally. I spend probably 3.5 hours doing this. That's like a half an hour every day. Some days a little longer depending upon the mood. But all I'm doing, literally, we're journaling because I kind of think of all kinds of shit all day long, and I want to make sure I'm not distracted. That's the point. We're immersed with distractions everywhere. What journaling does for me is you put a direct emphasis on what you want to create, what you're grateful for, whatever it might be, as long as you're not talking about or speaking about what happened to you. That's the point. You're basically programming, that's one of the words out of the quote box today, about what you want to have, be, and do. And that quote came back to me yesterday. I love every minute of it because it makes sense in all we do. We just take it on the latter end, a lot of us, and I did for decades. It says, out of the quote box today, it takes the exact same amount of time and energy to imagine wonderful things as it does to worry, and the results are incredibly different. Indeed. I spent the first 40 years of my life in the latter, because that's the way I was programmed, the process of preparing. When you're brought up, and you guys know this, a lot of you guys who are very successful in what you do or have in life, you were programmed to be that way. And you know, whether you know it or not, what I had to do was reprogram what I was already programmed to. And journaling really helped that because it developed new channels of thought. And that's the whole point. I never thought, you know, when I was a kid, I would hear stories. I mean, back then we had what they call a newspaper. Remember the Sunday newspaper? The bitch was like that thick, man. It was huge. But they had great stories in there. Sunday morning was newspaper day. We used to spend the whole morning on literally a bowl of cereal on the floor, a box of cereal as a backup, and the milk sitting next to it. I used to piss off my mom something fierce. I ate the whole box in the morning. But there you would see the sales, the flyers. Remember that? I mean, for us in the upper echelon of age, that was fun. But they also had great stories in there. And stories about people who changed their lives in so many ways. And sadly, you don't see that anymore. You don't see that anymore. But what journaling is, they actually said it in scripture. I'll read you a verse and then I'll get right to my point in my little picture. This way you guys can really jack on what I'm trying to get to here. Because it's really powerful because it's life-changing. And when you understand that you can use this, or you can use this, or you can use both, you can incorporate yoga, you can meditate, you can walk. I mean, these are what all the deceased notables did back then. They either journaled, walked, did both, and literally came up with the most amazing inventions that we are enjoying to this day. How can you do that if you're distracted all day long in those 168 hours in a week? You have to delegate time to yourself. Self-love is not selfish. It's not. So whoever told you that, and getting back to the programming growing up, I was always told that you can never, medicine was the future and God will never heal you, and this and that, and all these things, and that was the surroundings I was in. I was basically programmed not to believe in anything higher than myself. And not to come on as a Bible thumper. I'm not. The point being is they basically said, this is how it is, and the story's done. So I lived my life 40 years that way. And when I realized that, a little bit after my 40th birthday, after everything fell apart, I said, wait, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way for all of us. And that started the trek, 17 years ago. I keep forgetting I'm that old, man. But in a way, in a good way. But that's what journaling did for me. All I was doing was directing new thoughts. Doing it constantly. What I would do is write it down, what I wanted to not necessarily have, be, or do, but who I wanted to be in life. And gradually learned and using those 168 hours a week to delegate a little bit to myself. If you guys have the time, please delegate time to yourself, because if you're not happy, if you're not feeling right, something is telling you. Your heart is saying, look, meatball, something's got to work better here. And I'm going to show you guys a picture, but I forgot that phrase. I got digressed from that. I want to share Psalms with you. Psalms 119, 105, buried way back in Scripture. I actually had to Google this because I wanted to find something in Scripture upon writing. I actually found two powerful verses, then I'll get to my little picture and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about that pertains to me, that you can use as a metaphor in your life. But Psalms wrote, and back then he goes, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. All it's saying is, I am in control. I take, by me writing down what I want and creating it in the most amazing way, I create my own path. And Jeremiah said it again, not again, but Jeremiah said it as well. But he said it more powerfully. He said, write all the words which I have spoken to you in a book. Who has spoken to you? Your heart, yourself, whatever you want to have, be, and do in life. It's telling you what you want. This is why a lot of people are looking for the self-help and everything else, because they're trying to find direction. You really don't have to find direction. Just follow your heart. Follow your heart and follow what makes you happy in life. And however you can focus on that happiness, however way you do it, I dictate it. And I also do other ways as well to make sure I'm not out of state to where I want to go. Because I've been there, Meatball. I was back there in the prison of thought. But this is really simple. It's actually kind of infantile, but I'm going to show you guys, explain my story and explain what the reasons are behind that and how important you are creating in your life by your thought process. And what do we got here, man? We got a heart, indeed. And if you notice on that little heart, and I feel like I'm doing a Sunday morning program here, but it'll make sense. Just hold on. You see the heart there, and it's got two lines up the middle. Indeed. You got two lines up the middle. Everybody's got two lines up the middle. I am one in, how should we say, I think 4 million. And I mentioned this before in America's Mentor. What I have, you have two ends that go up the left and right ventricle. I have a third one that goes right up the old friggin' middle of this thing. And what that is, it's a neural pathway. It's a how should we say, an extra electrical outlet. I want to make sure I didn't spit on the camera for that one. And basically, that is a channel of energy, an extra channel of energy I have to my heart. And it could be detrimental to some people. It doesn't really faze me. I can get it fixed. Little zap with the heat will turn off that valve, that channel of energy, and the heart will be basically as normal as it is now. It's more of a nuisance than anything else. Maybe I'll get a palpitation here and there. But with that sense, if you realize we have the two lines there, which everybody has, which is normal. What the extra line, it was created in there. It was like a freak of nature. I don't know, 1 in 4 million. But we have that ability, getting to my point, of creating that same channel of energy into our mindset. Every day we're being conditioned to think. Whatever you put in that new channel of energy that you want to create in life is completely and totally up to you. It's up to you to decide what you want to add, because the mind is endless, it's limitless. And what you put in there will determine where you go. And journaling for me was just a direct reflection of what I wanted to create in my life at the time, and still do to this day. Everything around me basically was in my journal. And I mentioned this many times at America's Mentor. But most importantly, it's the peace of mind that you want to create in your life. And you can create as many channels as you want, going right up. The mind is endless. You can create as many channels of thought as you want. And growing up as kids, we were programmed. All these neural pathways were created in our mindset, therefore triggered by our five senses: see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And we live by that every day, by our surroundings that we're in. What journaling did for me was create all new pathways of thought of who I wanted to be as a person. You have that same choice. Instead of muttering, if you journal, instead of muttering about what has happened to you, start writing about what you can make happen for you. In essence, who you are. And when you start doing that repetitively, the couple hours a week out of 168 hours, or walking, meditating, yoga, someplace where you can become one with yourself, you will give yourself an amazing set of new pathways of thought that'll naturally flow into your life. Because to get to the problem, you have to go to the roots. And a lot of us are afraid to understand that and to realize that to change your life, you have to literally change your life. Where do you start? It's like planting new seeds in the soil. A thought process will start you on the life process. It's a new set of programming that you install, Meatball. You install all this stuff, man. So the heart is a great metaphor to live by, because indeed, I have that extra pathway. But our mind is endless. You can create endless neural pathways of new thought, but you have to be diligent. You have to understand that you are the creator, and there's not some outside force that can control you unless you allow it. I allowed it for the first 4 decades of my life because that's what I was programmed to have, be, and do. And who the hell wrote this? William Wordsworth. Pardon the pun. This is great. He wrote these set of words, and I'll let you guys go. And really think about what I just said. Use the heart metaphor. You literally can add that to your mind. Any kind of neural pathway you want to add of thought, it's added every day. Whether it's the economy that's bad and you're thinking about it, that's a neural pathway. The money you don't have every day, that's creating a new neural pathway. And if you keep allowing it, it's going to surround your life with that. Does that make sense? Wait, let me fix my computer here 1 sec. And I'll read William's letter. I'll let you guys go. Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart. I mean, when I read that, it gives me the goosebumps, man, because it literally just says, look, put whatever you want on a paper, or you can do it in your mindset, whatever you want to do, and you keep breathing that love out to what you want to have, be, and do, it's going to manifest. Because you're getting to the root cause of the problem. You're basically planting a whole new garden. And whatever you choose to put in that garden every day with thought is going to keep getting programmed into your mindset. Hence that hamster wheel of karma you keep drawing to yourself every single day. Just by changing your mindset, just by changing your programming, just by changing your beliefs of where you want to go, installing them every single day will bring all that to you, Meatball. You're not limited, man. You're not. But you got to be diligent. And this is what few people really want to grasp. I'm as diligent. I'm a freak about this, only because it has brought me a complete paradigm shift of thinking. That's your epiphany in life about who you want to have be, what you want to have, be, and do. When you keep installing that neural pathway, because all day long, all you're going to think about is where you are, where you're going, what you're going to have, what you're going to create, instead of where you've been, who hurt you, what happened to you. Does that make sense? It's a direct paradigm shift of thinking. And when you change what you've planted, you are changing what you're going to grow. You're going to kill off the old and welcome the new. But it's a choice. You got to get past all the distractions in your life. You got to understand you have to allow me time for yourself. It's not selfish. I had to learn the hard way, especially with children and everything else. So I used to isolate myself, trying to find that Jerry that I've always wanted to be. Indeed, does it take time, but the mind is limitless. The more you do it, the quicker it comes. This is what you guys got. This is why I immersed myself in it. It took so long because I wanted to learn so much. I didn't just want to change my life. I wanted to expand it on bigger levels. You guys can just worry about it, do it for yourself, because from that new self, you're going to attract to yourself what you want for yourself. And when you start believing that, you've reprogrammed what you've been programmed to believe. It sounds so simple. Indeed, it really is. But you got to use the 168 hours that we've been given every single week. Yeah, and okay, work 40. Okay, drive an hour and a half every day. But you still have time for yourself, whatever it may be. If you can spend 20 minutes in the morning walking, or 20 minutes at night before you go to bed, watching the sunset and really delving into where you want to go, this is the same thing. It's you focusing on the person that you've always wanted to be. Doing it on a constant level. You are denied nothing that you deny first yourself. And believe me when I tell you, coming from 40 years, 40 years of shit, but at the same time blessed with all these little blessings along the way in life, but programmed to believe that I'm just here. I'm just a meat suit. We're not. We're not, Meatball. We are an atom bomb waiting to create the most amazing things in life. I wish I would have known it earlier, but at the same time, it was a lesson. And there was a blessing in the lesson. And I wanted to share it with you guys. And hopefully it really undermines what we were taught in life. Because life is not limited. It's our thoughts that are limited. It's who we are as people that we think we are that are limited. And when you let go of the limitations, you start bringing in the most amazing things, guys. So I have to go to work, and the voice it's really hot in the loft, man. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed everything. America's Mentor _radio on Instagram, guys. It costs 50 cents to change your life. Whatever you guys want to do. I mean, this is not preaching. It's just saying, look, guys, there's something else out there. It's called the real you. The one you've always wanted to be. Whatever your heart is telling you, it's just banging on your mind saying, look, Meatball, we're not happy down here. We want to change. When that starts happening, if you feel confused, you don't know where you're going, and you feel like you keep hitting the same wall, your life has to change. Change your life by changing your soil, changing the roots, changing the seeds you put in the ground and what you're watering with every day. Everything is going to change in your life. I guarantee it. Guys, so America's Mentor, like I said, on Instagram, at America's Mentor on Twitter. At America's Mentor on YouTube, guys. Thank you for the Jackson views. I will see you guys soon. Stay cool. Meatball, it's almost fall days. But stay cool, guys. Enjoy your Friday. Have a great day, man.